This is Star Wars The Vintage Collection, Darth Vader. And here's the original packaging that was released by Kenner back in the 80s with the Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader figure. This is the US version, which my sister-in-law sent me. It has the free Boba Fett redemption sticker right there. And you know, back in the day, I actually had the Darth Vader figure. That was the Empire Strikes Back. It just broke off in bits and pieces here and there. The lightsaber broke off, the head broke. I was playing with it when I was a kid. But it was one of those figures that you really had to get when you were a kid. And it was so much in demand, and you could not find it anywhere. And they were so expensive back in the day. And I didn't really get a lot of Star Wars figures, and that's why I really appreciate Hasbro's efforts to really bring back a lot of nostalgia for the more mature fans of the Star Wars line. And you know, every time I get a vintage figure, I am just reminded of how much wonderful and how much a big deal the Star Wars toys were back in the 80s. But anyway, here is the new better version of the Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader. It's a pretty nice looking figure. He's got a well, he's updated in a sense that he's got better paint apps and better plastic, and it still retains the same articulation as a legacy figure. Still no ball hinge joint at the hip, but I'm glad they didn't remove the ball hinge ankles, which was really nice. The main feature this figure has, apart from his really flowing cape, which I wish they could have made it a little bit heavier so that it would curl inward instead of curling outward. But that's okay, I suppose. And it's a little bit translucent. I wish they could have made it more opaque, but okay, you know, budget, cost constraints or something like that. His main feature is really the removable helmet, which does not stay on. I had hoped that Hasbro would have fixed this problem and have it snap on, but it still does not snap on. It falls off easily, and well, it reveals David Prowse, the original actor for Darth Vader. Very nice, very well detailed, but this thing will not stay on. It just rests on it, both pieces, and they do not snap on. And I had wished they would have improved on the original figure that they released with this one. This is actually a redeco of this one. If you have this figure, you'll notice it's very similar, including the cloth fabric on his chest. I think the main difference really would be just that this one has I think it's better paint apps. The silver on this one is a lot better. Even the molded plastic, I think this one is a lot more shinier. I don't know, this could be just an older figure, that's why, and they just changed it. But the colors seem brighter on this figure. So if you missed out on this one, you can get this one and you can still have the same features as the original figure. Yeah. So, and actually, you know, if you only have one of the vintage figure Darth Vader's, you might want to go ahead and keep this one in package because it really looks great with a vintage card, and just open up this one, as far as I can tell. Here is another figure that sort of is like a Darth Vader with a removable helmet. This is the Battle Damage Darth Vader, which was, when this was first released, this was a figure you wanted to get, but there's just too much exposed skin that does not get covered up when you put on the armor and the helmet, and this is really more of the battle damage look. You really want to get a war-torn Darth Vader, and if that's the look you're going for your display, then this is the one you want to get. So yeah, this was pretty cool too. My brother got this for me in the US, so very nice, very thoughtful of him. So we're gonna keep it. I'm gonna get these guys out for now. Okay, a few more comments. He still retains the old fists that the previous release Vader had, with the open right hand and the pistol grip left hand. So only the left hand can actually hold the lightsaber. This other hand is just used for the Force. If you have Captain Nida, I mean, you know, it can sort of clasp the lightsaber, but he can't really hold it with it. He does not come with a base. Sadly, these vintage figures do not come with a base. This is a Galactic Battle Game stand that I think it's a Plo Koon stand that I just borrowed so that I could just show you guys the figure in greater detail. So it doesn't so he doesn't keep tipping off when I'm showing him off to you. But very nice. I like these stands, you know, actually. Without the card, I mean, they're pretty cool. They're pretty stable, and I wish the vintage collection had some allowance for these stands. I mean, you know, I wish Hasbro didn't have to scrimp on plastic and whatnot. Excuse me. Okay, last thing I'm going to mention, this is really more for the US based fans of Star Wars and those subscribed to the channel and those watching this video. If you're in the US or in Canada, this actual release, the US release of the vintage figures, come with a certificate which you fill up and then you mail to Hasbro or to Figure Redemption Incorporated for you to get the exclusive rocket firing Boba Fett figure. If you want to know what that is, I have it in one of my vlog videos. And what you need to do is you need to include in the mail $7 if you're in the US and $9 if you're in Canada, and at least any five UPC codes of any 5 figures from Star Wars Build-A-Droid, Saga Legends, Star Wars The Clone Wars, or the Vintage Collection, which was really quite surprising. I thought you had to get only Vintage Collection figures, but as it turns out, you can get any of the Star Wars figures from the different lines, and actually just mail 5 UPC codes, which is really great if you're not too big on the vintage figures and you're really more of a Clone Wars collector or a Saga Legends collector, and you had all the Build-A-Droid figures. I mean, you can still get your rocket firing Boba Fett figure if you get figures from any of those lines. So very, very nice, very generous of Hasbro. For those in Manila and in Asia, I don't think this thing applies, and you can get the rocket firing Boba Fett figure I think in different channels as well. They're available in some hobby shops. If you're in Manila, I think Our Toys might still have a couple. I think Our Toys might still have one more or a couple more figures of the vintage exclusive rocket firing Boba Fett figure. So that's that. Very nice. And with that, I'm going to end this video. Very nice looking figure. Big fan of Darth Vader. If you love Star Wars, you've got to get this figure. If you got to get only one vintage collection figure, this has got to be the figure you have to get, at least for wave 1. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. Someone's going to ask me if the cape is removable. It's not. If you want to remove it, you got to pop off the head, which is on a hinge joint. So I don't want to do that. And then you can probably take off the cape, and as well as these things. The belt doesn't seem to pop off anywhere. I don't want to risk it. I just really want to display this figure as it is and really not play too much with it. So there you have it, the Star Wars Vintage Collection Darth Vader. Thanks for watching.